Good morning. Here we are, a new day. It is a beautiful morning out there, the 29th of the month. My God, I'm looking at the calendar and I'm like, holy crap, it's almost September. Holy shnikes. Sunshine, though, beautiful day. Got it started with my daughter Lily this morning, and she had some very profound words for me this morning, which will make all of the difference. And we're getting started with Flying the Wall Productions, the Aired Out podcast this morning. Thanks for joining me. Thanks for your eyes, your ears. We're live on Facebook and YouTube. We're streamed everywhere you get your podcasts. And, of course, we're on the web at airedoutvt.com. 9:04, temperature-wise right now. Well, it was 45 at my house this morning. Right now, hovering either side of 50, I think, for many towns. I think Bennington is kind of the warm spot right now, lower 60s. But we're going to warm up in Vermont today to the lower 70s with partly sunny skies. Going to be beautiful. Tomorrow really is the pick of the week. But racing at Thunder Road tonight, clear skies, mid-40s. Friday, tomorrow, pick of the week. That's what I'm saying anyways. Sunshine at 75. I'm going to be off with the family tomorrow morning and through the Labor Day weekend, which, by the way, is calling for showers on Saturday, rebounding with sunshine on Sunday, and still more dry weather for Labor Day and Tuesday next week, which is very nice. Reggae royalty. You bet. We're going to be chatting with Sidney Mills this morning. At least we're going to try to connect with him and put him on the air as we get ready for the Green Mountain Reggae Festival next weekend. Unbelievable. I can't believe it's almost a week away. And Matt Strong from Rooted Entertainment going to be with us as well, who set up that interview with Sidney Mills, which I can't believe it. National Lemon Juice Day today. We're going to celebrate with a little drop of the tart stuff. At least I am in the water. I've been trying to do that more and more, putting the lemon juice in the water, freshen up the world around you. Get the lemon juice going today. Do it in a cooking recipe, whatever the hell you want to do. But National Lemon Juice Day. How they come up with these things, these national holidays, I'll never really know. Daily Dose of Feel Good this morning. We're going to post up this story about this neighborhood. I don't know if you heard about it, that just raised $20,000 for an ice cream stand that was shut down. We're going to tell you all about it. We're going to post this story up this morning right here where you are now on Aired Out. Happy birthday today to Dakota Fox. Lindsay Contois is on the birthday list. All right, I won't say how old she is, but happy birthday, Lindsay. Adam Dolan, let's see, Shelby Picard, Lynn Burgess, Rob Taylor, and Lisa Laird. Happy birthday, everybody. Wow. We have stuff in the sports page this morning. We have the 2024 PGA Tour Championship getting underway today from East Lake Golf Club in Atlanta for the FedEx Cup title, and $25 million winners bonus. Unbelievable. Red Sox shut out the Blue Jays 3-zip. They're going to be back at it tonight at 7:10. And, of course, we're going to talk about Thunder Road Racing in just a little bit. Well, Vermont headlines this morning. And I've reached out to Matt Tatro over at VAST, the Vermont Association of Snowmobile Travelers. Snowmobile trail damage up to $1 million in repairs, and that number is climbing. Big story on Channel 5 about that. We've got 5,000 miles of trails spanning across the state. State land, private land, and man, we rely on it so much. And a lot of these bridges, culverts, and trails themselves were just completely washed out. Governor Phil Scott and FEMA delivered updates yesterday on assistance that FEMA has given out since the disaster declaration was approved last week. From what I understand, it is kind of now sitting on Biden's desk here. But from what I gather, it looks like we're going to get some help here. But I would love to have Matt on the air and see if we can get more details about, what to expect, especially if you have a snowmobile. I have plenty of friends that do have snowmobiles. I don't have one myself, but we've had this discussion. What are you going to do? Are you planning on getting out on the trails? A lot of snowmobilers have been a little discouraged over the last couple of years with the snow or lack thereof, for whatever reason, called global warming or whatever. But I don't know. We're going to talk about that too. If I can get Matt on the air, TMAs, they're up for sale right now. Is it worth getting one? Is it worth the price of the sled? Is it worth the insurance? Is it worth all of the equipment? All of these things coupled together. It's a good question to ask. Green Mountain Transit outlined their draft plan, and I don't know if you got a chance to see or hear any of that press conference, but they've got details on some of the reductions, and I know there's going to be some public forums on this, some public discussion. One of those discussions is going to take place in the Capitol in Montpelier. But we're talking about a $2 million deficit, and there's a good percentage of GMT that is paid for by taxpayers. And a good portion, of course, that comes from the feds as well. But what's going to happen? And how is this going to impact Vermonters who absolutely rely on GMT as their lifeblood to get to work, to connect themselves with their families, to go shopping, to do whatever. And, I had a little bit of a discussion with Larry Seiler the other day about this. There's a good percentage of Vermonters who are disabled in some way, shape, or form, whether it's physical or otherwise. And they rely on GMT as well. Folks with poor eyesight, whatever it may be, mobility issues, they need GMT. This is a big story in Vermont, and again, like I just said, it is going to impact a lot of people. I think more than I'm even conceptualizing here. I don't know. It's not going to be good, especially as we come into the cooler months and colder months. One of the big stories, if not probably, Linda's saying before people get all worked up over the GMT story, they need to watch the article. Last night was on the news. A lot of this is going to be routes that are not being heavily utilized. So yeah, it's a great point. I mean, they're trying to trim fat where it is least impactful. But there's they're not doing well, and there's a lot of fat to be trimmed. So I don't know what's going to happen. But yes, you should be paying attention to that story. We are. Some Vermont residents urged to limit time outdoors due to increased EEE risk. We've been talking about this for a couple of days. There's concern in Massachusetts. There's concern in New Hampshire after we just lost someone confirmed to the Eastern equine encephalitis virus. And now the Vermont Agency of Agriculture, Food and Markets, and Department of Health have put out a statement, came out yesterday, recommending that residents in a whole lot of different towns limit their time spent outdoors between 6 p.m. and 6 a.m. to decrease their exposure to mosquitoes. That's when mosquitoes are most active. And there's a good number of towns here, Alburgh, Burlington, Colchester, Swanton, just to name a few. But again, we had a person in New Hampshire who died from the virus. So this is something that Vermonters are talking about. We've got 47 groups of mosquitoes that have tested positive for Triple E across 11 towns. So, and that's just, so far this summer. And they're saying, at least my understanding of what I've learned, is that fall time, even though we've got these cool nights, that's when mosquitoes are most active. During the fall, even more so during the summer, which I was surprised to learn that. We're testing our horses for this, says Michaela. We got all other shots done, and they're testing their horses over at the Bernier farm there. So, I don't know. The story on... the DRC, the Disaster Recovery Centers, popping up in Vermont. We're going to have that up on our page. I know, and I think most of us know about the Barry Auditorium and Goddard College. Now we have one taking fruition in Waterbury at the Armory. So that's one of the trending stories this morning. We have Paul LaChapelle, captured and arrested, and is going to be charged with first-degree murder in that homicide in Springfield in 2022. That's a big story. He was caught in Littleton, New Hampshire, so he's going to be going to the big house. There's a couple of really big stories going on in Vermont right now. Hey, thanks for tuning in, for joining us this morning. I want to give a shout out this morning to KOB Kitchen and Bath. If you are dreaming about a new bath or a new kitchen in your home, you should really honestly stop dreaming about it and get over and chat with KOB Kitchen and Bath. Stop by, browse their showrooms in both Shelburne and Berlin. You're going to be glad you did. Route 302 in Berlin, right next to Aspen Dental, not too far from where we're sitting right now. Check them out on Instagram and Pinterest and TikTok, YouTube and Facebook, and, of course, on the web at kobkitchen.com. Get in touch with them, info@kobkitchen.com. Also, shout out this morning to Ruth Your Quick Lube and Auto Center. If you want fast, reliable oil changes, state inspections, you want some detailing done on your car, some reconditioning, that's the place to go. Full-service auto repair sounds like Ruth Your Quick Lube and Auto Center to me. They've been around, family-owned, for over 20 years. Stop by, say hello to the team over there, show them what you got, even if your car needs to be reconned like mine does and always does. Nothing will scare Colby away. Get over there and visit them. Yeah. So, again, I said this morning, reggae royalty, we're going to be chatting with Sidney Mills, who I just can't wait to connect with this guy. I'm almost... I don't know, man. I'm almost a little starstruck. And, Matt, I was telling you that it was, I don't know how many years ago it was. I think it was 2000.
Dude, you got the best Steel Pulse story probably I've ever heard. Or even, it could be close to, like, one of the best music experiences, like concert experiences, that, like, randomness, obviously, like, planning something's different, but to just fall into something like that.
I don't even know where we were. It was somewhere in the Caribbean.
You don't even remember which island.
I don't even remember what island. Let's see. It was Charlotte O'Malley. I think is how you pronounce it. Virgin Islands, right? Oh, God, where was that? I don't even know. Isn't that embarrassing? St. Thomas. I had to Google it. St. Thomas. Sitting on St. Thomas. Sitting on a boat with some friends. I think this was like 2012. I don't know. Who the hell knows?
Mm-hmm.
And it's like 10 o'clock at night, and we hear this reggae, Sherilyn and I, and we're like, God, listen to that. That's amazing. And I wasn't familiar with Steel Pulse, so it was a legendary reggae band. I mean, they're huge.
They're up there. I mean, there's not too many, existing artists, from that era that are still as active as that. Burning Spear's one of the ones I can think of, that's that age, that time era that are still like actively like really hitting it.
Yeah.
I've got, some of the bands that we have obviously are that old, but they're not as actively touring as Steel Pulse.
I know.
They're hitting it.
These guys are, and they're not spring chickens. I mean, they've been doing this for their whole lives.
Yeah. Yeah.
We hear the music echoing out over the bay there, and we're sitting at anchor, and Sherilyn and I were like, we got to go find out what this is all about. We're out of here. Hopped in the dinghy, went into shore, and went on foot through, there's parts of St. Thomas where, really shouldn't be out there at night, late at night, but we did, and we stumbled upon Steel Pulse that was in the middle of a show and got a chance to catch a little bit of it, and I'll never forget it, and I'll be a fan forever. And then you're telling me about Sydney Mills, keyboard player for Steel Pulse.
Yeah, and currently now the keyboard player for Sundup.
Yes.
Yeah, but yeah, he was with Steel Pulse for 30 plus years. Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah. So he was there for sure.
Yeah, he was.
I'd put money on it. He was at that show.
Yeah.
So. And he's played, a lot of the old reggae fests that used to be in Vermont. So
Jesus, man,
30-something years, crazy, right?
You've got an interview coming up this afternoon live on WDEV. I think at 2:00. You're in the Times Argus. You're in the Journal Opinion. You're on Goddard College Radio. You're on the Point Radio. What's going on with other radio stations that are grabbing this?
Going on?
Wasn't it EQX?
Oh yeah, EQX. My friend Jeff, who runs EQX out in Albany, New York, just got a hold of us this morning. Reached back, so hoping to catch up with him. They've got a big one going on in New York this weekend, Adirondack Music Fest. So we're hoping to get some action there. I've got some friends. Joshua West, who's in the Green Mountain Reggae Festival, is going tomorrow to it, and hopefully spread the word.
Oh my God!
Yeah, we're getting there for sure.
Are you going to be able to cut away and jet over there to?
No.
We're
going to.
You're buried, man.
Actually, if for people that are in Vermont, you want to catch a sneak preview of one of our bands, Soul Rebel Project's playing in
nice
at Nectar's tomorrow night with Giddyman.
Wow.
So we're going to go out there and spread the word and catch Soul Rebel,
yeah.
who I've actually haven't seen yet. So I've been listening to him for a while. But
so here's Jamie Brown saying, I so miss the reggae festival in Hardwick in 97, 98. You're hearing that a lot from people that are like, oh my God.
I mean, that's why we're doing it. I mean, I would not be taking this on if it wasn't for, that wave of like this. It was huge. Like it's
right.
I don't know if, I'm sure there's other things like it, but I mean, 40,000 people on North Beach, like how is that even physically possible? So, there's a lot of, reggae's great. The vibe, all the message and everything. So
Yeah.
like being able to bring that back to
Sure.
Vermont, which is all the art we've talked about it before. Every artist that we work with that
Yeah.
has been here is like, this is our second home.
Do
It's
you
like-
so this is the first. I don't. Can we say this
First
is
annual?
Annual?
Yeah.
Can we say annual?
has to be? Yeah.
My God.
Can't do something this big and not.
Especially
bring
with
that.
the name Green Mountain Reggae Festival.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's boom. That's it right there. That's your trademark.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like, already, are you saying, hey, year number one, right out of the chute, Bradford Fairgrounds? Is that enough space? I mean, this.
Yeah, I mean, we'll never get
Definitely
this-
for year number one.
Yeah, I mean, and there's lots of room to expand. We're using maybe 25% of the property this year.
Okay.
We're fencing it in, and
Damn.
there's a lot of room to expand. I don't know what the number would be, but we're not obviously ever going to do it in the 40,000 range. I don't know what would handle that in Vermont,
Yeah.
honestly. So, but yeah, there's plenty of room for expansion. We've already got a handful of bands penciled in for next year
They want in.
that weren't able to do it this year.
Wow.
Yeah, we've got to get through this year, but we've definitely planned for the expansion. We've planned to be able to grow it to handle enough people that want to come see it.
Well, you're in the Connecticut River Valley. A lot of farmland, a lot of space. I'm guessing, my man. I mean, that's just and you can mark my word, but I'm guessing that you might need more space as soon as possibly next year.
Possibly. You'd be
Possibly.
surprised. There's a lot of room there, and on top of it, there's a lot of farm fields around it. So if we
Yes.
could, if it ends up being that big, we can hopefully talk to the farmers and do some parking where.
Sure.
And then the festival is just the festival on the grounds, and we don't have to worry about parking. So, but you got to get through this year first.
I have heard you say the words reggae royalty so many times over the last month or so. We're going to connect in just about 4 minutes with just that. Sydney Mills is going to be joining us live.
Yeah, and he's
Former Steel Pulse member and keyboard player for Sundub.
Sundub. He produced both their albums, or producing their third album as well. But he helped them with their first two albums, and that's
Yeah.
where he started with them. He's the reason why we have Culture Meditation, who
Wow.
yeah, right, yeah, who are both alumni of the original Reggae Fest. Meditation's played it at least three times. I don't know how many times Culture's played it. I just had somebody reach out this morning that used to work with Lamb's Bread, right? Yeah, who was the original. They were the organizers. That was Bobby, the original, the organizer. It was his band. So
Okay.
that's what that started. And he reached out and he worked with Joseph Hill, who was the original singer of Culture at Reggae Fest. He told me that this morning. And, Kenyatta, who's Joseph's son, has picked up the microphone for him. And from what I understand, it's spitting. Everybody's like he sounds. I actually worked with Kodako Brass, who's comes up here all the time. And one of the trombone player has actually worked with him. And he was just he is spitting image of his father when it comes to singing it. So we're super excited for those two to be part of this.
We haven't really had a chance to dive too deep in our discussion of music because you've been for literally the last almost half a year you have been really consumed with making sure that this is going to be massive. You're the brainchild of this. You're the one that is this has to be done. But at some point after this festival next weekend, when you catch your breath and I catch my breath, we're going to sit down and we're going to talk more about music and how we can bring not only music to the microphones, but also the message behind music. Even probably more importantly, the message behind music.
Yeah, I mean, that's why, I do it. I can't speak for my whole team, and this why we do it. It's why I got into the business. Is I, sat back and watched
Sure.
it changed the entire crowd as soon as the music changed. We can get into the science behind vibration and what we're made of and all that, but we'll save that for another day. But that's why we do it. It's music is what's going to change the world, in a positive way.
I had a discussion with a friend the other day who was talking about grounding and just being outdoors, being present, barefoot. And the whole notion of grounding. And I mean, life coaches are talking about that, sound healing, and there's some big shit out there, man. There's some secrets that are coming out about this, about healing.
It's beyond faith. It's science. I mean, it's real science behind it. I'm not going to get the argument of the whole science thing, but like when you can prove the things, outside of the way you feel, so yeah, I mean, I feel like that's a whole week of podcasts.
Well, absolutely. We're going to see if we can bring Sydney on here, and I think we got him. Are you there, buddy?
How you doing, buddy?
Oh, we got him. Sydney.
How you doing, folks?
My man, I got Matt here with me. We are just. I am so honored to have you on Air It Out, and I want to thank Matt for setting it up. And brother, what can I say to you? I mean, Matt says reggae royalty, and I'm like, man, you are the king of Rastaman for me, brother.
We're just doing your works,
I want to thank you in advance for bringing your gift of music to Vermont, but also for connecting Matt with culture and meditations to get them to come to Vermont as well. That's huge.
Nah, man. I remember coming up to Vermont Reggae Festival back in the day, working with different groups like that, so when I come up as a youngster playing with different bands, making my way through, so it's a joy and a pleasure to be able to share and spread that the culture, the music, the message, because with reggae music, typically the things that make reggae is message, and it's really the voice of the people.
Yeah.
It's not always about oppression, but it's just the way how music flowed out of Jamaica and how we try to celebrate life and show our heritage.
Is that where you're from, Jamaica?
Well, I grew up in Jamaica. Obviously, I was born in England, but I was in Jamaica when I was 5 years old. So I pretty much typically grew up in Jamaica, doing the, walking the streets, going to regular school, everything. Yeah.
Tell me about your life. Tell me about your parents and your childhood.
Well, my father, we grew up in I was born in, like I said, I grew up in a small town in St. Thomas called Erie Castle, which is if anybody knows Jamaica, is close to the place called Bar Fountain. And I went to Happy Grove High School from there, which is in Port Antonio, and then from there I went to Kingston College. And through the help of a lot of great producers and engineers like Dennis Thompson, people passed on Ozzy Hibbert, Sir Thomas, Don Juan, I was always hanging around studios as part of my extracurricular activities after studying and just being able to find my way into music. I come from a humble family setting, and they taught us certain basic things in life, able to take care of yourself. As young men, a lot of times mommy would always take care of the boys, all that kind of stuff. But my mother and my other people who grew around me, because a village grew me, even though I had my mom and my dad was there sometimes, I didn't have the liberty of that going out and going somewhere and doing things without getting corrected, you know what I mean? So I grew up in a safe community where people cared about, other people's and their offsprings.
Do you think that's a lost art these days?
I I won't say it's a lost art. It's just kind of got more small and segregated. Whereas, because of laws and um, what would I say, and people's misunderstanding of other people's culture and nationalities, it is kind of narrowed down to little nuggets. But I think that thing within every community, there is still that unsaid, unspoken law that you take care of your own no matter what.
Sidney Mills, keyboard player for Sundub. I can't help but think here, it's not like growing up in Jamaica, there's a piano at every storefront and every street corner. Where did you find the keys to learn how to play the piano, the keyboards?
Basically, while going to school and being in the same community in Erie Council, St. Thomas. Again, a village, growing their own. Someone had saw that I had. Well, you kind of grew up in the church, so when you go to the church, after the church is over, kids, whatever you're into, I would just be going by the organ, and that time it was a pipe organ where you would press the pedals to get air to go to the pipes, and I was fascinated by that.
Wow.
So when we had the chance, we would go there and just mess with the organ. And, there's a lady there who she was a school teacher, and she saw the aptitude that we all had. Some guys had the knack of making toys, making trucks running down the road. Then, she said, you have a musical aptitude, so we're going to put you with the local person who teaches piano in the neighborhood. So that's where I really started. And, God bless my mother. When I came to the States, she made sure that I did have a little piano to play with, a little Casio, and my school, when I was going to have to go to high school, I also was introduced to music on a high level by a gentleman called Nathan Brackenridge, who was an awesome trumpet player and all this in Canada, but he played in many jazz bands in Jamaica back in the day. And he exposed me, and I remember him showing me how to play the A Train. And then I was just caught I saw that now reggae music was a tried kind of thing. And I saw, wow, you can do other things with music. So there was a gentleman called Herbie Miller who had a jazz program in Jamaica. And in Jamaica, either you listen to a lot of jazz, a lot of gospel or country music on Sundays. So I was exposed to that. So, all that kind of came together. That was a long story, and a lot of I'm trying to narrow it down because
it's fascinating. What was the inception of Steel Pulse? How did you get involved with that? What happened?
Well, with Pulse, I went to the States and I went to New York City College, and while there, we had some local bands that would join around. So we had like the A-Team band, which was well known. You had Empress Choice band. Calabash, and we used to play with a lot of artists come up from Jamaica. So after a while, we go to different islands and play stuff like that. So I was thinking St. Thomas, one of those places, and I was getting to technology through a weird occasion where I would have to meet Joe Zawinul and Chick Corea, and I was found out how to use synthesizers and bring the synthesizers and into the game. And from that, with the band I was working with, Sister Marcia Griffiths and Julie Mort, we did a show, and I had an Akai sampler using during the show. So Selwyn saw the show and had a great interest in how I'm using technology to incorporate into music and can approach me. And we became good friends like that. And after a while, they asked me to come aboard and be part of the family.
Wow.
Yeah.
I was just telling Matt that I think it was 2011 or 12, I was parked out on the water in Charlotte O'Malley, and I heard this incredible music late at night, and my wife and I jumped in the dinghy and went into shore, got on foot, and discovered Steel Pulse performing.
Wow. Interesting music. I mean, I kind of, in the beginning, I didn't know them. I was just listening to that stuff, but I became good friends with Grizzly from before that. And, I always would just check out the music, the message, and what it entailed.
fascinating, man. And you guys have. I don't know how many times I have listened to your albums over and over. I think Our House is probably one of my, or Your House is one of my favorites. I mean, I just love your music. I love your sound. I love your vibe. What about Sundub? How did you stumble on these guys?
Well, I really stumbled on Sundub. I've been in the music New York community and working with different artists. Eric Toussaint was a good friend of mine, and he came in pretty much, he has a military background, and he pretty much just ordered me. So listen, there's a group I want you to work with, and you are going to do this, and you are going to do that, and you are going to do that. I'm like, okay, Eric.
I love it.
Yeah, but he did. It was done with love, and he saw what I could bring to the group, and and what we could feed off each other, and everybody's excellent. Just they craft and what they do, and it took me out of the studio a little bit, not being in the studio because I stay in the studio 24/7. So we tried to do things, and we happen to work. So far, we've done 2 records, and we're on the 3rd record right now.
Wow.
We just got from Jamaica recording the new album, and I kind of encouraged that because I wanted them to just breathe and feel the energy of Jamaica and to understand what the music is about, how we see life in Jamaica, and how can you put that across so people can understand and get the real organic feel of, and it's so cool being in Jamaica. We worked hard, did 9 days rough in the studio, and we went out sometimes, and you walk in the street and you see many different stars, many different reggae artists, and we just communicated and vibe, and Joanna had a really good time eating all those mangoes.
and respect and props to the General too, man.
Oh man, he's awesome. He's such a knowledgeable guy on many fronts, and when we're not talking. We don't really talk a lot of politics. We talk about life and how we think things should be. But besides that, he's always doing his chess on his phone.
Jeez, man. Matt, you got anything for him?
Not really. I mean, I was actually going to ask about the Sundub. I know some of the story, with how that all came about, but I didn't realize, I knew it was through the General, so that's the first time I've heard that much of it. I'm just really grateful for Sundub and Sydney and, what they do, for the world and what they're bringing into reggae music. It's really great to have, stumbled upon it and become a part of it, and it's really great, and Sydney
But the great thing about Sundub is that the music covers a lot of different areas, and in comparison and how the reggae scene kind of developed out in California, and it had its own thing. I thought it'd be necessary for us as musicians and artists. It's not an East Coast, West Coast thing, but because of the lifestyle where we have the summers and the winters, our music has a little more edge to it, which is a little closer to what you would get from, the Caribbean versus what happens in California, which is more like, the sunshine kind of happy stuff. So I kind of wanted to make sure we have a combination of that, and that, hopefully when we get to California, people can see, you can see where music, there's no boundaries, and see the music lies and how we can get to understand each other's lives. It's like in hip hop where you have, the vibe in hip hop, how it sounds over there and how it sounds in New York. We just want people to experience it and understand that it's all about love, and it's all about sharing experiences with music, which, this broadens your knowledge, and that transcends the different things into life, with the way you grow up, what you attach to, what makes you this kind of person. You can see how all people's lives are, and you can pick from that and try to be a better person.
You mentioned California, and I can't help but think I got to just ask you, as an old school
roots
reggae God that we look at you as. You know, what do you what is your feeling about, frankly, these young white guys in California that are making newer modern reggae like Stick Figure and Revolution, and it's the California reggae, and it's new and it's poppy. And what do you say about that, man?
Well, it's a life that they know, you know. Being out in Cali and be able to pull your Cadillac and push this hood down, and you can drive and have sunshine 24/7. Whereas in New York, you got a little bit of sun, but here comes winter. Your old adjustment is different. So like it's just it's part of your DNA. So they heard the reggae music. There's a lot of guys in California who really take the roots music serious and they hang on to it. There's a great band out there, Martin from Quintessol. They hold it down. The rest of the bands like the Stick Figures and that, I think they're expressing what is in their DNA and what they're used to. They're not really used to the edginess that where reggae comes from. So it's what they're putting out there, and people gravitate to it. But it's also another audience that loves Buju and loves the Berries. And it's, in my eyes, it's the way how British youth festivals. I think it's sometimes, I don't know the politics of it all, but sometimes I think it's unfair for an audience of 70,000 people to see a Stick Figure music, but they're not exposed to a Barry Simon. They're not exposed to a Sundub. They're not exposed to culture.
Yeah.
Carlton Livingston. I mean, Carlton Livingston, 100 Page of Collie Weed, that tells the whole story. That's life. And it had a serious edge to it. You come from, you did that what he did in life to get there, and over in California, it's like, hey, I can do it in front of a cop, no problem. So it's just how people see life, and in their. A lot of them picked up different kind of ways. A lot of those kids did come to the Peter Tosh. Parents did come to the Peter Tosh shows. A lot of them went to the Bob Marley shows. They were at a Berkeley concert, and mom and dad was playing the hardcore reggae in the house, but they didn't really understand what it's all about. But at the same time, you got the blue, you got rock and roll playing, you got blues playing. So they pick all those elements and put what felt good to them.
What fascinating to hear that, isn't it, Matt?
Mm-hmm. That's like the best.
That's incredible. What message? What?
It's like put it this way, it's like you make your coffee. On the East Coast, some people don't like as much cream. In California, they like cream. It's everybody makes their own little mixture of what it is. I just think if you have a product and it's being exposed to a large audience, and there's different brands of the same thing. When you go to the supermarket and there's rice on the counter, there's different brands. There's Uncle Ben's, there's this one. Make sure that people can have access to it all.
Yeah. And the coffee that's coming out of the Blue Hills in Jamaica is...
Blue Mountain and all that
Blue
kind of
Mountains,
stuff.
man. Wow.
Yeah. Are we going to take his card away for calling it Blue Hills?
I'm sorry about that. What message do you have to say when we talk about culture about marijuana? And it's like state officials in Vermont that the Vermont legislature here and America for that matter. There's so much discussion about legalizing it, and it's different in Jamaica, man. It's just looked at differently. It's totally.
Well, you gotta understand the way I grew up in St. Thomas. There's a great community called Sunning Hill, and every year they would have what you call Nyabingi, where the Rasta men would come together and the women would be one side, the men would be one side, and they chant. And it was just like when I was able to travel. I went to Tibet and I saw how the monks were. They were doing the same thing. They were just passing. You gotta understand, reggae music is very powerful, and Peter Tosh said, "Words, sound, and power." So when those chantings was going on, they would beat the drums, and it's part of our ancestry. We were talking back to our ancestors. with the music. So the use of marijuana in Jamaica from back then had a different implication. It was a way of getting closer to the ancestors and be able to read and read messages. Now the way marijuana is being used out here now is a whole different thing. Okay, they legalize it and they make it happen, but for the legislators, they really should, before they make choices, they should really listen to Peter Tosh album. And it just to see, the life of the Rastafarian, of the roots, man. We said roots is all from the earth. So a lot of it had medical implications. How to sustain your life. The food we eating is natural. It's vegetarian. And so it was all about consciousness. And if you cleanse your body, you'll open up, your portals will open up more. So the way how they have this thing restricted now, my thing is like, for all the people who over the years were sent to jail for sale of marijuana, let them out, please. I know we're kind of going across different areas, but just my whole thing when it comes to the whole marijuana movement and all that, And then again, there has to be some regulations, because I saw in New York they closed down a bunch of shops, and a lot of the stuff that's out there being sold to people has been sprayed with chemicals and all that kind of stuff. So what are we doing here,
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Brother,
but, I don't want to cut you off, but there's a new meaning to hardest man working in the business. I got to give that trophy to Matt.
This guy's amazing. I see Matt go to places, and big up to the festival, the Green Mountain Festival that he's doing, but he's putting so much work. And I saw where he had an idea, and spoke about it lightly, and then next thing you know, a few months later, here we are. Yeah, nothing gets in Matt's way. If he wants something badly enough, step aside.
Yeah, so the folks listening, spread the message. Coming out to this festival, it's a learning experience. It's something where you're supporting the music and the people who come at these festivals. I mean, festivals are like a moving circus. There's people who depend upon these festivals to happen for their survival. So even though you come and buy a ticket, that money goes to different areas, and also stuff gets donated and to children and all that kind of stuff. So come out and support the thing. Hopefully, I know Matt would like to make this a yearly thing, and let's come out with an open mind and just listen to the music. Don't be judgmental of who wears what, who's playing what, but just use it as a portal where you can see where everybody's mind is and what, the energy, and like listen to a meditation, listen to a Carlton Livingston culture. It's just like you're gonna be blown away by the energy and just the words and the presentation they're gonna bring.
Thank you so much, my friend. God,
man.
Can't wait to hear you guys.
Yeah, man, it's all good.
Thank you, brother. God bless you, man. God bless you.
You too. Thank everybody.
Much love coming to you. Sydney Mills, right there. Damn, fella.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to go out with Steel Pulse, Your House. Thank you for bringing this festival to us, Matt.
Mm-hmm.
GreenMountainReggaeFestival.com to get tickets, camping info, all that stuff. We love what you're doing. We thank you so much for getting Sydney on the air with us this morning. buddy.
That's great.
Amazing. Keep an eye on 7 days, right?
Hopefully.
Nice write-up on 7 days. We're waiting for it. Thanks, buddy.
Thank you.
Drop They want it juicy, you know they want it right. They wanna feast on it all through the night. They don't want it all at once, they wanna savor every bite. Let them revel in the sounds, let them live in their delight. They're in the smoke that keeps rising. They're in the beams of sunlight, and if you look too hard, you won't find them. When they arrive, you can't hide, 'cause spirits need music. Let it flow like a river, don't force it. You know, spirits need music, yeah. Play them the sounds of their choosing. Let them dance to your drum, give your rhythm to the air. Invite them into your world, let them feast upon the fare. Said it's a delicate balance we must learn to achieve. How to play the perfect chord, give them something so sweet. They hear the thoughts that you're thinking. They love to share what you're drinking now. Give them all that you're able. Let them sit at your table, spirits eat music. Let it flow like a river, don't force it. No, no, no. You know, spirits eat music, yeah. Play them the sounds of their choosing. If you need a little help, if you're looking for advice, you know spirits all around.